What is with my hair?
I think it's cute.
I have a little tail growing out of my bun.
It's a bun with personality.
Yeah, exactly. Welcome back to another podcast.
Yay!
I don't even know what number this is anymore. It's all a blur.
I think it's 20, actually.
Wow.
That's crazy.
We almost didn't do one this week. It's actually Sunday morning. Like, you guys are probably watching this on Sunday morning, and it's Sunday morning that we're recording it. Yeah. So,
yeah.
We kind of had a crazy week. We were in LA for a week. We got back on Wednesday, and then we had our 5-year anniversary, which was really nice. Mm-hmm. And we've kind of just been catching up on stuff. And, yeah.
Yeah, it's, like, weird because when you take a vacation, because when we were in LA, we were considering it a vacation.
Yeah.
And you get home, and then you're tired from the vacation. I mean, we did a lot of stuff. It was, like, because we probably won't go back to LA for a while. We're going to go back. But it'll probably be a longer chunk of time between visits this time.
Yeah, so we wanted to do some stuff we had never done before.
Yeah, which we did. We actually accomplished quite a bit.
You want to talk about it?
Yeah, sure. Let's talk about it a little bit.
Okay, what did we do on the first day? Oh, your mom worked. So the thing is, Gig's mom works in LA. So it was kind of like half vacation, but mostly spending time with her as well. Yeah. And she worked on the first day. So we just hung out. We went...
Well, we got in the evening.
I don't count that.
But didn't we go for dinner that night when my mom got home from work?
No, we ordered in food because we were... Remember I passed out while eating chicken and waffles?
So I Postmated chicken and waffles, which was really good. And
if y'all don't know what Postmates is, Canada needs Postmates.
Yeah.
You can order anything to your house. Yeah. Like, you can be like, hey, can you go to IKEA and get me this flargon, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's like Uber Eats, but you can get anything.
Yeah.
You can order it. I mean... I've noticed in LA, people will, like, get things from Target. Like, oh, I need a stroller, I need a microwave, I need whatever. Target.
Yeah, you can literally Postmate anything.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Which is funny because we film commercials for them here.
Yeah.
But we don't have it in Canada.
I don't know. Well, I didn't get it, so I can probably talk about it. But I was, like, first or second choice for a Postmates commercial not that long ago. And I was like, yes, this would be so cool. But...
And we love Postmates.
Didn't happen. Yeah. Maybe
not
in the future.
Sponsored.
Yeah, not sponsored.
So anyways, yeah, we got chicken and waffles for dinner. I fell asleep while eating it. Because it was so tiring. I don't know why. We got in at, like 10 o'clock?
Yeah, I think it was about that.
Yeah. And then it took half an hour for our Uber to get to us.
Yeah, it took a while. And then it was really funny. Our Uber driver was really nice, but she... dropped her phone in the middle of it, so she pulled over on this, like...
She just stopped on the freeway.
Yeah, this ramp onto the freeway, and it was, like, really busy, and it was, like, the car was half on the road, like, the shoulder wasn't very big.
It was, like, connecting two freeways.
Yeah.
So it was, like, everyone was still going, like
fast.
70 miles an hour.
Yeah.
120 kilometers an hour.
And then I ended up reaching underneath her seat and finding her phone.
Because the directions were on her phone.
Yeah.
It's not like she could keep driving.
Yeah.
Anyways, the first day, we just hung out at the pool, I think.
Yeah.
Because there was a pool on the roof of the building that your mom lives in.
Yeah.
And then second day, I don't remember.
I don't remember either. Is that the day we went to...
Oh, the theater on the roof.
The theater on the roof.
Cinema on the Roof, whatever it's called. We saw Grease sing along.
Yeah, that was really cool.
It was funny because you're, like, on this roof, and they project the movie onto the building beside you. And... you have headphones on, so everyone can hear the movie in their headphones, but it's a sing-along, so everyone's singing out loud, so if you take off your headphones, it's just, like, everyone's singing.
You stop hearing the movie, and you just hear people, like,
so funny.
Yeah. And then we went to the Grove and the LA Museum of the Holocaust. That was the next day, right?
I don't know.
We were going to go to a couple museums, and then we went to that museum. It was very educational and very interesting, but it's just so heavy. Mm-hmm. So we ended up I think we just ended up getting lunch after that. And then, I can't remember. We went...
I made a vlog. If you want to know all about our trip, it's on my channel.
Yeah. Check out Erika McKittrick on YouTube.
There's no talking in it. It's just...
No, it's like a...
It's just for the aesthetic.
It's an artistic... vlog.
We went to Knott's Berry.
Yeah, that was the last
awesome.
day.
Yeah.
The other thing that I really liked that we did was we went to the Queen Mary.
Yeah.
Which is a ship, a big ship that's bigger than the Titanic. Mm-hmm. Like, it's crazy if you think about it. But it's interesting to see, like, the fact that what was considered a massive ship back then is not really that big anymore. Like, it's still a big ship.
It's big, but, like, cruise ships are bigger.
Way bigger, yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's basically, if you don't know, it's like this decommissioned warship, basically. Like, it was a passenger ship.
It was originally like a cruise ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It built in the 30s, I believe. The maiden voyage was, like, 36.
I think so, yeah.
And then it was used in the war, and then it was used for war brides after the war.
Yeah, it basically went, war brides, and then it kind of went back to being like a passenger ship, but
for America.
But for America, yeah.
Because before it was mostly like British people, like it was like England to New York, and then it was just Long Beach to somewhere. I don't know where. I can't remember. Yeah. To England, maybe. No, because that's way too big of a journey. But anyways, it was from Long Beach to somewhere. And then they decommissioned it, and it's just sitting in Long Beach, and they've turned it into a hotel, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
And it's haunted.
Yeah, we took a haunted tour. It's pretty cool. Tour. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's our trip.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I really like Knott's Berry. I had always wanted to go because, like, it's way cheaper than Disneyland, and it's cheaper than Universal. I haven't been to Six Flags or Magic Mountain or whatever those things are called. But,
yeah, I've never been to Six Flags either.
But Knott's Berry, honestly, was probably my favorite because it was so quiet.
And we went on, like, was it Tuesday?
Yeah, so it was the day after Labor Day. Is Labor Day Monday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was, like, super quiet. Nobody was there.
It was awesome. It was really nice.
Yeah. Anyways.
Should we just get down to it?
Down to it. Our topic today, as you probably see from the title, are our books.
Our books.
Books.
Book recommendations. Our favorite books.
Yeah, books that impacted us. Sorry, I'm feeling really silly and tired today. So we both have a list of books that we just want to talk about. Books that, like, even some of them on my list I haven't even finished yet, and, like, I started reading them, like, 5 years ago.
That's totally fine. Sometimes your favorite books, like, you don't need to read the whole thing, you know what I mean? And everybody's different. Like, me, I go through books like, I was gonna say, like, toilet paper, you know? Like.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much you do. You're a really fast reader.
Yeah.
I'm a slow reader.
I read 100 books last year.
Man, I always forget that, and then I remember, and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. It was my goal, like, on GoodReads. We'll link our GoodReads down below, so you can kind of, like, if you want to follow us or become friends or whatever, that's cool. I always like to get new book recommendations. But on GoodReads, you set, like, a yearly goal of how many books you want to read. So last year I did 100. This year I'm just doing 35 because 100, like, I worked a lot last year, so I had time to, and we were apart as well a little bit. So I had time to kind of just, like, read and have time to myself.
Yeah.
But, like, this year I'm like, no. I need to do way less.
Yeah.
I'm already at 35, I think, so.
Cool. All right, well, do you want to start?
Sure. Are we, like, am I doing it all at once?
No, I thought we could take turns.
Okay.
If that's okay.
So I've read 21 of my 35 books.
Oh, nice.
So I think I can probably do it.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, no. Oh, what is it? Oh, yeah, no, for sure.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure.
Apparently that's a very Canadian saying.
Yeah.
I kicked the table. I'm so sorry. I do it every time.
That one wasn't that bad.
Okay. All right. My first book is probably one of yours, too.
Yeah.
But I think since I put it on, you probably didn't put it on your list, right?
No.
Beyond the Deepwoods. I don't know who it's by, so I'm sorry. But you can check my GoodReads. It's basically like a preteen or like young adult, like, fantasy book. And there's, like, a whole series, but it's never really about the same people in all the books. I think there is another book about the same guy in this one. But it's basically this really cool story of, like, this kid finds out that he was adopted, and his parents kind of set him out to go
figure out his past, or where he came from.
I guess so, isn't it? Or no,
yeah.
I think they're just sending him somewhere. I don't even remember where.
Well, there's this big adventure.
But then he strays from the path.
Yeah.
And he has to find his way back.
Yeah.
And it's so cool.
Yeah.
It's every time I read it, I'm like, damn, this needs to be a movie or a book or something. I mean, a book, a TV show.
Yeah.
It's so good.
And you got me to read it.
Yeah.
Last year or the year before.
I've read it so many times that it's falling apart.
Yeah.
My mom's best friend got it for me when I was like probably 10 or 11 or something. I just loved it. We should read the other books in the series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
It's called The Edge Chronicles. That's the series.
Yeah.
But the book is called Beyond the Deepwoods. We'll put all the books in the description and the authors if you guys want to check them out.
Yeah.
I don't really have anything else to say about it.
Sorry, my brain is like all over the place today.
That's
I'm not
okay.
like jumping in. I might as well go on my first book, right?
Yeah.
All right. So my first book is probably the most important book to me. I've read it 3 times. It's impacted my life the most. I mean, I guess impacted. I find it really reassuring and soothing to read and to think about it. It's therapeutic, and it's actually kind of categorized as a self-help book, but you don't even have to see it that way. It's interesting because it's kind of focused around values. I might as well tell you the book. It's The Alchemist. And one of the reasons why I really like this book is because it doesn't force beliefs onto you.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of lets you come to your own conclusions about what things mean and stuff.
Yeah.
And basically it's about a young man who's trying to find his purpose in life. And that, you have these expectations on yourself that you're supposed to live your life a certain way. But then things don't necessarily work out that way, and you may think that even for years that it's not, you're on the wrong path, but really you are, right?
Mm-hmm.
No matter what you do, you're on the right path, pretty much.
Yeah.
So I really like this book because it's kind of like that feeling of nostalgia for like your home, where you grew up, or like that kind of thing. It's very comforting. So that's one of the reasons why this book's so important to me.
I haven't finished it, but I also kind of get the gist of, like, it being, like, enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
Yeah,
enjoy the journey. Or, like, there's, in the beginning of the book, I don't want to spoil anything, but in the beginning of the book, he's after this one woman, right? And he kind of thinks, this is, I've got to accomplish this, and I got to be with this woman, and it's a challenge, but this is what my life is supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then none of that works out, and then he ends up being happier than if he had been with this other woman and all this. So that's really cool because it's like reassuring. It's like you don't have to be like life has to be this way, because my mind really works that way. I'm very much a perfectionist in the terms of like I have this image in my brain and it has to work out the specific way, but it's really like anxiety inducing to think that it might not. But then the book kind of teaches you that life's unpredictable, and that's okay. That's a good thing.
It doesn't have to go to plan.
No, exactly.
Sometimes it can work out better.
Yeah.
Should I do my next one? Okay. I haven't read this one in a long time, but it's Elsewhere by Gabrielle Zevin. I don't know. I can't remember. And it's basically... It's actually, I didn't realize when I was a kid, like, this was my favorite book when I was a kid. I didn't realize that it's very, almost, like, religious type of thing. I don't know, like, it's hard to describe. Basically, this girl dies, and that's not a spoiler because it's immediate. And, she is, like when you die, you go to this place called Elsewhere, and you age backwards until you're born again, and then you go back to Earth as a baby.
That's cool. I want to read it. I haven't read it yet. That sounds like an interesting, like, concept.
But the thing is, she falls in love in Elsewhere.
Oh, ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's a really good book. I don't want to spoil too much. I loved it. I cry every time I read it. Like, it's such a good book. And that's another one that I always read it, and I'm like, this needs to be a movie. And there's actually a movie they announced this movie called Elsewhere, and I was like, they're making it! But they're not.
No.
It's a different Elsewhere. What?
You emotional about
I
that?
know, I'm getting emotional. It's your turn.
Oh, okay. My next book is Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? I think I've only read this book once. I've tried to read it again, but the thing is, I'm a big fan of sci-fi, even if it's a book, like an original sci-fi book.
Yeah.
But the problem is, a lot of these original classic sci-fi books are really hard to read.
Yeah.
They're really dry. The language they use is usually written a long time ago.
Is this the book that you tried to read to me and I just passed right out within like a minute?
No, that's
Brave New World?
Yeah, which I will talk about later. But Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep is the book that inspired Blade Runner.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. And it's actually, if you read the book, it's very similar to the movie. I mean, I'm pretty sure the characters are named the same and everything like that. But there's a lot more detail and a lot more kind of like environmental, like it describes the environment better and like technology and stuff like that. But I like it just because it's sort of a cinematic historical piece, right? Because it's a book that inspired such a historic sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's iconic.
Yeah. That's all I really have to say about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
My next one is just it's just a series. It's not one book, but the Harry Potter series. I loved reading them growing up. And I don't really think I have to say much.
Yeah.
I think everyone kind of knows.
Yeah, we're watching the movies right now.
Yeah, and I'm reading the books too. I'm on Order of the Phoenix. Oh, is that one on Netflix? Or do I have to get it from the library?
That's the next one. Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Oh, good. Okay.
I think 5 to the end is on Netflix.
Okay, cool.
So we don't need to get any more from the library.
We've been getting the
movies from the library, the DVDs.
That.
Yeah.
Yeah. My mom used to read them to me. I remember having... Sorry, my legs are sticking to each other. It's super gloomy out and I'm wearing shorts. I don't know why. My mom used to read them to me and I remember reading The Prisoner of Azkaban and having nightmares for a long time because those stupid Dementors.
Yeah. The Dementors! That was terrible.
Your turn.
Okay. My next book is a nonfiction book called, well, some people might argue it's fiction, but I will say it's nonfiction, called Endurance, written by Scott Kelly, who is an astronaut and a twin. He was sent into space for almost a year to do what they call a twin study, so they wanted to see the effects on twins, like on one person that's genetically identical, what a year in space will do to the body, basically. Because that's almost the longest someone's ever been in space. But to compare it on someone exactly the same, right? So his brother would have stayed on Earth the entire time, and
is his brother? What does he do?
He's an astronaut as well.
Oh, he's an astronaut.
Yeah, they're both astronauts.
Oh, okay.
They both became astronauts different ways, though, which I thought was really interesting. I mean, it's not really a spoiler, but so the one brother, the one that stayed on Earth, he did very well in school. And graduated and went on to, I can't remember what he did in university, but he got accepted into the university he wanted to and had no trouble. I mean, didn't have as much trouble as his brother. His brother, Scott Kelly, barely, the guy who wrote the book, barely graduated high school.
Dropped out of university, right?
Dropped out of university and then ended up going to a military university, a Navy university, I believe. And then ended up, his goal was to fly planes. He was trying to figure out what to do. I think it was the book The Right Stuff that inspired him to become a test pilot because he was like, I really like doing things that are dangerous and challenging. So he wanted to do the most challenging thing ever, which was become a test pilot. And then that eventually evolved into becoming an astronaut. So I thought that was really cool because like a lot of astronauts, you're either a pilot or a scientist.
Yeah.
So his way was to become a pilot, and he ended up piloting and flying on one of the space shuttles. So that was really cool. I won't talk about too much more because if you want to read the book, I don't want to like give it all away. But it's really cool. He talks about being in space, obviously, how he got there, the technology that they use to get into space is like the same as like 30 years ago.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Pretty crazy. Or even longer ago. And then he
40 years ago.
Yeah. And then he also talks about how hard it was to be in space for a year and how hard it was on his relationships, because he has children too. Yeah. So I thought that was really cool.
But yeah, you can't just like FaceTime your kids or anything.
Well, especially since NASA, everything is scheduled. So if he does want to FaceTime or Skype with his girlfriend and wife, I don't know if they're married. I don't want to make any assumptions. Yeah, it has to be scheduled, and usually NASA's watching or listening.
So you can't
have any, intimate times. But it was an interesting book. I read it at a time where I was away from you, so it was like hard, but also reassuring.
Your mom bought it for you, right?
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
She was like, I think you'd like this book. And I was like, oh, okay, fine. And I read it.
And then I went to Comic-Con.
Yeah.
I went to New York Comic-Con, and Scott Kelly tweeted, oh, if you go to this booth and give the secret word, you'll get a free signed copy. And I was like, all right. And this guy was there, and he was like, you're not giving away anything for free? Like, complaining to them. And they're like, sorry, you have to pay for the book. And I'm like, hi, whatever the secret word was. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, I think it was like Earth to Scott Kelly or Earth to...
I was told to say Earth to Scott Kelly. And she's like, very well. She turns around, gives me the book. She's like, here you go. And the guy's like, how did you do that?
People get so mad when you can't get things for free.
I know. And it's like,
weird.
Just look up the author. The tweet's there, right? Like...
Yeah. Well, obviously they didn't know anything about the book or the author. They just wanted something for
They're
free.
probably just going to every booth like, do you have any free stuff?
Yeah.
I paid for Comic-Con, I should get free stuff.
Do you have any free stuff that I can sell later?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm making this person sound like an idiot.
But he was so sleazy.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, it was like, get a life.
Yeah. All right.
My next one is Wonder. I know I'm a little bit biased, but it's just such a good book. I was in the movie. That's why I'm biased, if you don't know. I had a very low role, but the book, it's just, I've read it so many times, and I always cry every time. The script made me bawl. I read that like 10 times, even though I didn't need to. I didn't have lines in the script. He would just give me lines like on set.
Yeah.
But R.J. I don't know how to say her last
name.
Palacio. She is just such a sweet woman. Her whole family, they're all so sweet.
Well, what's amazing about the book is it's a story. It's a good story, but also
it's based on true events. She was at an ice cream shop and getting her son? I don't know, her child or children ice cream. And there was a girl sitting outside and she had a facial deformity. And her son started crying.
He's very young.
Yeah, he was very young. I guess he was scared by her. And she was like, okay, let's go, because she didn't know what to do. And then she got home and she was like, why did I do that? Like, why am I teaching him that, it's scary, right? And then it kind of started
Or that it's something to be uncomfortable about, or like you should treat them differently.
Oh, I guess for those of you who don't know, Wonder is a book about this kid named Augie who has Treacher Collins syndrome, which is basically like you're born with facial deformities.
Yeah.
And it's about his first time going to public school. And it's a very good book.
Yeah. What I really like about it is like it's this beautiful story, but it's also just about finding it in yourself to be a nicer person.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just like you're a nice person or you're not a nice person. It's that anybody can be a nice person. It takes a little bit of effort, and it can make a huge difference.
The slogan of the movie is "Choose kind."
Yeah.
And I implore.
Yeah.
I implore you to do it.
Yeah. Nice.
You.
Okay. So the next one is another science fiction classic.
I think most of them are.
Yeah. Time Machine, or The Time Machine, I don't know what it's called. I have a book that's a combo, The Time Machine and War of the Worlds. I don't know if I ever even finished the War of the Worlds part, but the Time Machine one, it's so interesting because it's just so visual. And
do you have it here?
No, or maybe we brought it back. from LA because it was in LA.
Oh.
I think we brought it back from LA. Yeah. It's a combo book with Time Machine and War of the Worlds, and War of the Worlds is very dark, but it's like it was hard for me to visualize War of the Worlds because it takes place in the 1800s.
Really?
Yeah. So they talk about guns and stuff, but what they mean are like cannons.
Yeah.
And there's not really any cars or anything.
No.
Like, right? But when you think about the movie, which I had already seen,
Tom Cruise.
You're thinking Tom Cruise. You're thinking about like present day, pretty much, with technology.
That airplane.
Yeah.
And that was a great scene.
And stuff.
They used a real 747.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's still set up at Universal.
It is.
Pretty cool.
It's awesome.
But Time Machine, I remember seeing the there's a few Time Machine movie years ago, and then I read the book, and it's like, it's just so good. I need to reread it because I read it so long ago that I can't really remember much about it. But it's just a really cool concept, like to think that the world or even society could look or be so different.
Yeah.
So many years in the future or the past. I don't even know if he goes in the past. I think he just goes into the future. That's why I need to reread the book because I can't remember it. Anyways, your turn.
All right. Another one from my childhood is Pollyanna. It's basically like kind of same kind of idea as Wonder, where like the main premise is just to be kind and to be like to choose to be happy. You know, and that's a sensitive subject because I know like it's hard with mental health issues. You know, you can't always choose to be happy, but basically the girl is, I don't know if she like doesn't have parents, but she goes to live with her aunt, I think, who is quite mean, but she always plays the glad game where she takes a situation and tries to find the good in it, like tries to find something to be happy about.
Yeah, trying to find a reason to be glad.
Yeah.
Glad is such a weird word.
It's a nice, thing.
Yeah, that's cool.
Words. English.
I haven't read a lot of these books on your, I've read some of them, but not all of them.
On my list?
Yeah,
I haven't read most of them on your list.
I need to read
We need to read each other's lists.
Yeah. Gotta read your list. Okay.
I haven't read any of the... I've read one on your list. 2 on your... 3. I didn't read the list before.
That's what I was just doing in my head on yours, too.
How many have you done?
1. I don't know
2,
if that counts. 2,
yeah.
I think I read that. Didn't I read that?
No.
No? Oh. 3. I've read 3 on yours.
Okay, well then there we go. We can read each other's 7.
Yeah.
Okay, it's your turn.
Okay, my next one is 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I had to read this for school when I was in school. And again, it's been a long time since I've read it. But one of my favorite things about this book is not necessarily the story, but again, the visuals. Like, I really like I remember one part where he's like almost free diving in like, I don't know, Greece or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And he just describes all of the sea life and like these fishermen who dive down and like get the stuff to eat, and then like just how powerful the life in the ocean is. It gets you to appreciate it, which is really cool. I think a lot of times when people think about 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, they're like, ooh, this futuristic submarine and this like mysterious monster and all this stuff, and it does get a little bit like that. But for me, when I think about 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, I think more about the beauty of the ocean and the experience. Like when you're on the ocean or when you're near the ocean, it gives you this feeling. And I feel like the book really captures that.
I ordered the like kids version of it on GoodReads. I mean, what's the other one? Thrift Books. There we go. Which is a really good website if you want to buy books because they're super cheap because they're secondhand. Like basically they're just saved from landfills. People just throw away books even though they're totally fine. Weirdos. Anyways, I got the kids version of it and it wasn't very good. Like I need to read the real thing because it was just like they just kill everything and they don't there's no descriptors. It's just like, oh, we found this, let's kill it.
Well, and again, it was written a long time ago, so it'll be a bit hard to read. But once you get into it, it's really cool. And once you get, like, I feel like when you read a book from a time where the language was different, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's almost like speaking a different language because everything's phrased differently.
They made a movie.
Yeah, with
Kirk Douglas.
Right, yeah. It's kind of like you need to adapt your brain to speak.
It's Disney.
Cool. Well, that's why it's at Disneyland.
Is
or was at Disneyland. That ride that you hated, the one that was like the Nemo one.
Oh, the submarine
one. It was originally
one.
a 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea ride.
That's so cool. Yeah. Oh yeah, I hated that one. I started having a panic attack because it was too closed in.
Yeah.
It was published in 1872 in English.
1872. Wow.
But the first publication date was 1870 in French.
I didn't know Jules Verne was French.
Really? You didn't get it from the name?
Jules. I guess that's a French name, isn't it? Anyways,
okay.
Your next book?
Mrs. Frisby and the Rats of Nimh. I don't even know where to start. There's a movie called The Secret of Nimh, and it does not do justice to the book. They changed it. They made it so that it's all magic that the rats can talk and not science. Because in the book, it's all like they've experimented on these rats to make them be able to talk.
Yeah.
But in the movie, it's like they have this magic amulet and it saves everybody.
Yeah.
It's so stupid.
Like, it would be a really cool sci-fi movie if they, like...
Yeah.
They should remake it.
They should. Live action.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Live action. Yeah.
It's by this man. I can't remember what his name is. But, he died. And his daughter wrote 2 more books under his name. And I haven't read them. I want to read them, but they don't have them at the library, so I have to find them. I have to track them down somewhere. But, let's see. Mrs. Frisby and the Rats of It. Robert C. O'Brien. So good. Mrs. Frisby, a widowed mouse with 4 small children, must move her family to their summer quarters immediately or face almost certain death. Yeah. But her youngest son, Timothy, lies ill with pneumonia. It's so good. It doesn't sound good, but it's amazing.
All right.
I didn't even know there was a book. I had just seen the movie when I was a kid, and I loved the movie.
Yeah.
And then I found out that there was a book, and I was like, I need to get it. And it was so good. I'm so glad. I read it last year. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
You're getting tired.
Yeah. Camp X.
Amazing book.
Yeah, we read this together.
I'd read it when I was a kid once, and I was like, yeah, this is a good book. And then I totally forgot about it. And then I was like, oh, I think you would like this.
Well, it's definitely a boys' book.
Yeah.
So if you're like a young girl, maybe it won't appeal to you until maybe you're a little bit older. I don't know. It depends on who you are.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just hard to, like, all the characters are men.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's very hard to, like, relate with anybody.
Yeah.
But it's still a good book. Like, I'm not saying it's not a good book.
The other thing that I really like about it is it takes place in Canada.
Yeah, it's
so very cool. Canadian. I don't really want to give anything away about it. It's a cute story. Not really cute. I mean, it's about World War II. But
it's cute because these boys are just such troublemakers.
Yeah. Well, it's like brothers. It's kind of cool for me to read that because I had all sisters growing up, so kind of like...
You're like, what would it be like?
Yeah, what would it have been like? Especially in the 1940s.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, that's all I'm going to say about it. It's a really cool book.
Yeah.
And we're trying to read the sequel. I think we started it and we didn't finish it.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think it's actually still in LA. I think we forgot to bring it back.
No, I think I brought it back. Because we threw out all the other books. I only took the ones that we were keeping.
I know, but it wasn't with the other books. Oh. It was on the windowsill propping up the exhaust for the AC
no, I took it.
Okay.
Anyways. Yeah. Okay, Rebecca is my next one. You're done, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Rebecca, by Daphne du Maurier. Amazing book. It's also a movie.
The movie's so good. Oh, so good.
Man, it's from 1940, Alfred Hitchcock's first Hollywood movie. Basically, this woman, we never know her name. They just always call her Mrs. De Winter. She gets married to this mysterious older gentleman.
Mr. De Winter.
Yes, Maxim De Winter. And she moves into his grand estate. And it's, you know, it's basically like a gothic romance. It's creepy and dramatic. And she's haunted by the ghost of his late wife, basically. Mm-hmm. There's much more to it than that, but man, it's such a good book and such a good movie. And they're making a new one, and I'm really mad.
Yeah.
Why don't remake classics?
Yeah.
Stop.
Especially the Alfred Hitchcock classics.
Stop.
Yeah.
It'll be cool to see what they do to, like, modernize it. If they just make it, like, 1940s, I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah.
Because it's like, what's the point then? Make it, like, modern. That's all.
Okay. My next one is Brave New World, which we mentioned earlier. This book is kind of about genetic engineering, I guess. It's really hard to get into because I've tried to, like, I first started reading it 5 years ago when Erika and I started dating.
Keep talking.
Like, when we very first started dating. And that's one of the reasons why this book is special to me, because when we first started dating, that's, like, a very special time to me. We became very close, and I love you.
Sorry, we left the bathroom fan on, so I had to turn it off. I don't know. It's probably, you probably can't hear it.
Yeah.
But, you know, I just had to.
Yeah. And I've tried to, I think I got about 2/3 of the way through. And it's very interesting, but it's hard to get into because the book starts with, like, a tour of one of the facilities where they basically engineer humans. And what they do is they take, like, the concept of twins, and then they, like, choose the good genes, and then they basically multiply those by many. And I don't know if it's actually, like, a whole bunch of identical twins or not. I can't remember how it works. But the whole beginning, the first opening, is, like, they spend so long in too much detail describing how it all works and how the machinery looks and the system and everything, and which is really interesting. But when you're just trying to get into the story,
you're like,
it's just
come on.
Okay, come on, I want to know what happens, and especially if, like, you've already read part of it like I have and trying to get back to where you were. I want to start at the beginning again because I don't remember all the details.
Maybe you should get it as an audiobook.
That's a good idea. I have 2 copies of it. I have one really nice, beautiful copy that my sister gave me. She didn't know I had even started reading the book. She gave it to me as a gift, and it's, like, this beautiful hardcover. And then I have, like, an old secondhand ratty paperback.
Throw it away.
That's the one that I started reading. But yeah, an audiobook, that's a good idea. I haven't listened to an audiobook in a really long time.
I don't know that I ever have.
I remember listening to A Wrinkle in Time, the audiobook.
I thought about mentioning that for your list, but I was like, whatever.
That's okay. A Wrinkle in Time isn't really, like, a super important book to me. I think the book is really cool. The movie, I'm sure, was great for young people, but I couldn't watch it, to be honest.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
My next one is The Shape of Water. They wrote it after they made the movie. Guillermo del Toro and someone else. They wrote it together, and it is just, like, so much more detail than the movie. And the movie's amazing, don't get me wrong, but the book is just so much better. It's so good. They explain how they get the thing and all that kind of stuff.
I don't know anything about it because I haven't seen the movie.
Oh,
or read the
it's
book.
the one with the...
I know what it is, but I haven't seen the movie because you watched the movie. I haven't watched it.
Yeah, but with the thingy, you know?
Yeah, the
fish dude.
The fish dude, yeah.
It explains how they get him and stuff like that.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
And the ending is more, like, you can understand it better because with the movie, you're kind of just left to come to your own conclusions. But with the book, you actually know how it ends.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Well, I guess you can still come to your own conclusions, but you have options. It's a really good book. I recommend it. I mean, I guess we recommend all these books.
Yeah, that's why they're on our lists.
Anyways, go ahead.
Okay, my next book is Area 51, written by Annie... I've never said the names of any of the... Annie Jacobsen. Sorry, I had to go look over at the bookshelf. I actually don't think I've even finished this book. I've read most of it. But you don't really need to read it from front to back. It's a really cool book. Again, it's actually one that my mom bought me because years ago they were talking about it on TBC radio. And it's really cool if you like conspiracy theories, because basically it's like a less intense way of looking at Area 51 and conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
But the woman who wrote it was actually on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I really liked it because she's so passionate about the way what she writes and stuff like that. And she actually talked about, she has another book coming out, and I want to get that as well. I can't remember what it's called or anything, but I like her writing, and I like her passion, right? I mean, that's the thing about some of these female writers, especially. They're really passionate about what they do, and I feel that when I read, and I appreciate it more than just like, here's a story that's, you know. I think this is the newest one. Yeah, Surprise, Kill, Vanish. But she's written about, like, you know, Nazis and Area 51.
Ooh, the definitive history of secret CIA assassins. I can't talk.
Yeah, CIA assassins and army operatives. Which is really cool because she was talking about on the Joe Rogan podcast, she was talking about how, like, she met some guys and she can't say who they are. And, like, they know all this stuff that's, like, and they're dying. And they're like, well, better tell someone now, right? Like, I mean, that feels so cliche, but at the same time, like, really cool. Like, if it were true. Because that's the one thing I like about conspiracies. People get upset about them, but you take them with a grain of salt, right? Like, interpret them how you want to interpret them. For me, they're entertainment, and I can kind of take them seriously and be like, oh, this is crap.
Well, that's the thing. People give you, like, you read the facts, you know, in quotations, and then you make your own decisions about what you believe in and stuff like that. It's open-ended.
Yeah, exactly. It's open to interpretation.
Yeah.
And the one thing I like about, like, books like this is I see it as a form of entertainment, but also a form of inspiration for creativity, because it's some of them are so out there, and it's exciting to think that it could be true, but it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways. Go ahead.
I'm just going to say my last two because they're pretty well known, and we're running out of time. We have to upload this in 14 minutes. The Martian by Andy Weir, I think that's his name is. It's a sci-fi book. They made a movie with Matt Damon. One day we'll explain the joke, but not right now. Basically, this guy's stranded on Mars. It's a really good book. It was his first ever book, and it is so frickin' good. It's really amazing. Good. And my last book is Holes.
Classic.
Yeah.
Classic Holes.
Frickin' good.
Okay, my last two are Tuesdays with Morrie, which, again, is kind of like a self-help book, but it's an amazing story. It's a true story, right?
It is, yeah.
Amazing true story, and just a beautiful read, and, like, really, like, easy.
Easy to read?
Easy to read, I think. Yeah, easy to read.
It's a thin book, too.
Yeah.
It's short.
But it's, like, it's wholesome.
Yeah.
Right? It's wholesome, and it's, like,
it's hard to read at the end because of the emotional stuff.
Yeah.
But it is an easy read.
But it's like, when you pick it up, it's hard to put down.
Yeah, it really is.
And then my last one is The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Bleep. Yeah. I don't really remember. I was talking about this with Erika's mom, actually, because she read the book, too. You don't really, after you read it, you don't really remember anything that happened in the book. It's again, a self-help book. It's supposed to give you confidence in, like, life and stuff like that, which it does when you're reading it.
Yeah.
Like, and it's entertaining. And the guy, it's almost like double speak, like, but in a positive way, right? Like, he's like
double talk?
Double talk, double speak. It's the same thing.
Oh.
And it's like all this, like, positivity and builds you up and stuff like that. But that's a good thing. It's not like a bad kind of double talk or anything. But I mean, I'm sure if I reread it, I'd be able to take something away from it. But
well, I remember when you first read it, you were so inspired by it, and you were like, "I'm gonna change my life," and you know.
Yeah. Well, and I think if, like, so for example, when I read the book, I was actually having a lot of trouble with anxiety. Yeah. And it was a good way to kind of, like, try and force myself out of anxiety, because sometimes you get in a rut and you get this feeling in your stomach and it won't go away, and it's like, you're like, wow, life. And I think it helped with that at the time.
Yeah.
So it served its purpose. Cool. All right. What's today's charity?
Today's charity is the Wildlife Rescue Association of BC. If you don't know, BC is British Columbia, and that's where we live.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a wildlife rescue service in British Columbia, where we live. Basically, if you donate to them, you're ensuring that injured animals receive the care that they need. If you would like to donate to them, you can go to wildliferescue.ca. And if you just want to read about them, or they have like educational resources on their website as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And you can donate.
I already said that.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah. Sorry.
I said if you want to go donate, you can.
I kind of like zoned out for a second.
That's okay. That's all.
There's a chocolate bar right here, and I want to eat it.
You want to eat chocolate? I already ate chocolate.
You were like, you want to eat chocolate for breakfast? I already ate chocolate.
We also have ice cream. Anyways, we need to upload in 11 minutes. So we love you guys. Have a good morning, evening, and night.
Thanks for watching and listening. All right. Bye.
Bye. Wait. Oh, no, it's fine.
What?
I was going to say let us know what your favorite books are.
Okay. Let us know what your favorite books are.
No, it's too late.
No, we're good.
No.
All right. Bye.